Do you struggle with feeling unworthy? Do you sometimes feel like you're overly critical of yourself and you can't seem to turn off the negative self-talk? Well, if you do, hang in there. I want to talk about self-compassion and why it's so important for us to practice it so that we can learn how to be kind to ourselves, learn how to love ourselves, and accept ourselves. Hi there, and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Mildred Charles. I am so grateful and so thankful that you would tune in to this channel to watch this video all the way to the end. And if you haven't done so already, please do me a favor. I'm trying to grow this channel, so please subscribe, use the link below, and if you can, please go ahead and click that notification and you'll be able to be notified every time I upload a video. So that being said, let's talk about this topic called self-compassion. I don't even want to call it a topic, it's actually a practice. Self-compassion is so important because when we don't love ourselves, when we don't honor ourselves, what ends up happening is that we will end up being our own worst enemy. And when you become your own worst enemy, it doesn't matter what other people say about you. It doesn't matter who doesn't like you. It doesn't matter who thinks whatever about you. If you don't like yourself, that is a recipe for disaster. So when we talk about self-compassion, Dr. Kristen Neff is the leading expert on this topic, and she defines self-compassion in 3 elements. The first one is self-kindness, the second one is common humanity, and the third one is mindfulness. So according to Dr. Neff, the first part of practicing self-compassion means that you have to be kind to yourself. So the way we speak to ourselves determines how we see the world. It determines how we see ourselves. It determines how we see our future. And it's so important for us to be careful about the words and the negative thoughts that we have towards ourselves, because when we're not, what ends up happening is that we can set ourselves up to be our own worst enemy. So being kind to yourself and having self-compassion means that you're able to relate to yourself in a way that says that you can forgive yourself, you can accept yourself, you can appreciate yourself, you can love and honor yourself. And you know better than I do the road and the journey that you are on. And so if you've ever gotten to a place, and if you can ever recall a time where you were not being kind to yourself, where you were there just beating yourself up, that's what happens when you're not practicing self-compassion. So her second point is common humanity. Common humanity, we all go through things. Life is going to happen. And so when life is happening and you're mindful that somebody said something that made you feel a certain way, or something happened that you couldn't control the outcome, it doesn't mean that we're bad people, because like in my case, I was verbally and emotionally abused. Even though the trauma and me having that experience made me feel that way, common humanity is when self-compassion involves understanding that that pain and suffering happens to all of us. So the third element of self-compassion is mindfulness. It basically requires that we take a balanced approach whenever we're dealing with negative emotions, so that we don't have these feelings and then we suppress them. And then when you suppress them, then all of a sudden they become exaggerated. She basically is trying to say that whenever we're dealing with negative emotions, we can't just bury them or deny that they're there, because when we do that, what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up. That's why they say mindset is everything. That is so true. If you're under attack by your own mind with words, nobody else has to hear it. As long as you hear it And if we don't learn how to practice self-compassion, we can end up believing it. And when you believe this stuff, it robs us of life. Because the more and more we suppress these negative emotions, the more and more you just can't, because they actually have to come up. We have to deal with it. So what are some things that we can do to practice self-compassion? I know I've said it earlier, but the most important one is learning how to be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. Don't say negative things. Don't make yourself feel like you don't matter, like you're unworthy, like nothing, that you can't do anything right. So learn how to be kind to yourself. Another thing that we can do is learn how to be your own best friend. Being your own best friend means you are going to treat yourself like you would treat somebody that you do care for. Another thing that we can do is we can learn how to practice grace. Give yourself room to make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you don't have to be the first one to come and condemn yourself and tell you, oh, I told you couldn't do this right. That's not self-compassion. It's the opposite. Other thing that we can do to practice self-compassion is learn how to be around supportive people who are going to lift you up. We have two types of people in our lives. We have people who are liabilities or people who are assets. Look at your circle. Look at the people that you know. Are they lifting you up? Are they making you feel good about yourself? And if they don't, you're able to recognize that. Another thing that you can do is to use affirmations. Now, I absolutely love affirmations. I think affirmations are so powerful because they can help me to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Another thing that you could do is guided meditation. And when you're using guided meditation, or not, it doesn't even have to be guided. With meditation, it helps you to be still. It helps you to be aware of yourself and the thoughts that you're having in the moment. It helps you to be present so that you're not worried about things that have happened in the past, or you're not worried about things that haven't even happened in the future that you're worrying about. Practicing self-compassion will allow you to use these techniques so that you can learn how to love yourself, so you can learn how to accept yourself and to trust yourself. Because when it's all said and done, what we're trying to do is become confident. We're trying to learn how to be our best selves. So if you found this information helpful, please leave a comment, like the video, let me know what you think about it, and don't forget to please take good care of yourself, those you love, and each other. And let's grow forward on purpose. Thanks for watching.